Israel is 60% desert. A scorching, barren wasteland where nothing should grow. The soil is hostile. The heat is relentless. Fresh water is almost non-existent. When experts looked at this land in 1948, they said agriculture here was impossible. They said Israel would never feed itself. They were dead wrong. Today, Israel feeds over 9 million people and exports $1.3 billion worth of agricultural products every year. From a desert. But here's what nobody's talking about. This transformation didn't happen through luck or divine intervention. It happened because of one of the most audacious engineering projects of the 20th century. A massive artificial river system that literally brought life to dead land. The national water carrier. Here's the thing. While other desert nations struggle to grow a single crop, Israel turned sand into a food paradise. The future of farming isn't coming. It's already here, flowing through 130 kilometers of pipes beneath the Israeli desert. Picture this. A massive system of pipes, canals, tunnels, and pumping stations stretching 130 kilometers across the entire country. This isn't just a water pipeline. It's a lifeline that literally brought the desert to life. Construction started in 1953 with 4,000 workers digging through mountains, crossing valleys, and defying every geographical obstacle imaginable. 11 years later, in 1964, it was complete. Here's where it gets crazy. This system can move 72,000 cubic meters of water every single hour. That's 1.7 million cubic meters per day, flowing from the Sea of Galilee in the north all the way down to the burning Negev desert in the south. To put that in perspective, that's enough water to fill nearly 700 Olympic swimming pools daily. The engineering challenge was insane. Water had to be pumped uphill, through solid rock, across terrain that changed elevation constantly. But they did it. And when that water started flowing south in 1964, everything changed. The vision came from David Ben-Gurion, Israel's founding father. Back in 1956, he wrote in his book Toward the South that Israel's survival depended on making the desert bloom. He said it was absolutely vital for both economic and security reasons to direct water and rain to the south, to send young pioneers there with the country's resources. This wasn't just agriculture. This was nation building. But bringing water to the desert was only half the battle. If you think that's impressive, wait till you hear this. Israel invented drip irrigation, and it changed agriculture forever. In 1959, a father and son team, Simcha and Yeshayahu Blas, developed a revolutionary irrigation method. Instead of flooding fields or using sprinklers that waste massive amounts of water through evaporation, they created a system of tubes and drippers that deliver water directly to plant roots. The efficiency is mind-blowing. Drip irrigation achieves 70 to 80% water efficiency compared to just 40% with traditional methods. Plants absorb 95% of the water applied. Think about that. 95%. In 1965, just 1 year after the national water carrier was completed, the Blas family founded Netafim. Today, it's the world leader in drip irrigation technology. And here's the kicker. 75% of Israel's crops are now irrigated using this method. A technology born from necessity became Israel's gift to global agriculture. Countries facing water scarcity worldwide now use Israeli drip irrigation. From California to India to sub-Saharan Africa, this innovation is feeding millions. But here's where it gets even crazier. Israel didn't stop at transporting and conserving water. They created entirely new water sources. By 2015, Israel was treating and recycling 86% of its wastewater for agriculture. 86%. To put that in context, Spain, which ranks second globally, only recycles 17%. The Shafdan treatment facility, Israel's largest, processes 470,000 cubic meters of raw sewage every single day. That treated water provides 140 million cubic meters annually for irrigation in the Negev desert. More than 60% of agriculture in the Negev runs on recycled wastewater. Water that would have been wasted is now growing food in the desert. And if recycling wasn't enough, Israel went to the ocean. The Mediterranean coast is now lined with 23 massive desalination plants operated by Mekarot, Israel's national water company. These facilities produce over 1 million cubic meters of desalinated seawater every single day. Today, about 40% of Israel's drinking water comes from the ocean. This freed up natural freshwater sources for agriculture. Israel took the world's most abundant resource, salt water, and turned it into the world's most precious resource, fresh water. The crazy part is how all these innovations work together. The national water carrier distributes water. Drip irrigation uses it efficiently. Wastewater treatment creates new supply. Desalination taps the ocean. It's a complete water management ecosystem that transformed a water-scarce desert nation into an agricultural exporter. No other country on Earth has integrated these technologies at this scale. But the innovation didn't stop there. Israel pushed into the future with cutting-edge agricultural technology. Today, there are over 500 Israeli agritech startups developing artificial intelligence, robotics, sensors, drones, and precision farming tools. These aren't just concepts. They're deployed on farms right now. Companies like Tyrannus use AI and machine learning to monitor fields and help farmers make data-driven decisions. CropX develops soil sensors that provide real-time analytics to optimize irrigation and reduce waste. Netafim evolved beyond drip lines to create smart irrigation systems with sensors that analyze soil, weather, and plant conditions to deliver the exact amount of water and fertilizer each plant needs. They call it fertigation, combining fertilization with irrigation. Look, the numbers tell an incredible story. Israel produces 95% of its own food, despite employing less than 1% of its population in agriculture. The sector contributes just over 1% to GDP but generates massive export value. Israeli deserts harvest 4,500 kilograms of jojoba per hectare and account for nearly 50% of global production. Fish are bred in super-intensive ponds producing 500 kilograms per cubic meter of water annually with innovative recycling systems. Even Israel's honeybees thrived when bee populations worldwide collapsed in the early 2000s, thanks to strategic planting of eucalyptus and winter-flowering trees that provide year-round nutrition. Here's the twist. Israel's agricultural miracle wasn't just about technology. It was about community. 75% of Israel's farmland is still managed by kibbutzim and moshevim, cooperative farming community. These collectives fostered a culture of shared knowledge and rapid innovation adoption. When one kibbutz discovered a better technique, others quickly followed. This collaborative spirit accelerated technological advancement faster than any private company could achieve alone. And here's something that will give you goosebumps. Israel's agricultural expertise is now reshaping farming globally. In May 2025, Madagascar signed a $90 million agreement with Israel's LR Group to implement smart agriculture across 10,000 hectares. The project will support over 10,000 small farmers with solar irrigation, AI, hybrid seeds, and satellite tracking. This is the Israeli model exported to Africa. Countries in arid regions worldwide are looking to Israel as the blueprint for sustainable desert farming. But let's be real for a second. Israel's agricultural transformation came with challenges. The country still imports more food than it exports. In 2021, agricultural imports totaled nearly $9 billion, while exports reached $2.4 billion. Grains, oilseeds, meat, coffee, and sugar still come from abroad. Israel isn't completely self-sufficient. Water shortage remains a constant constraint. Climate change threatens to make conditions even harsher. Recent conflicts have disrupted farming in border regions, with the Gaza envelope once supplying over half the nation's caloric intake before hostilities. Yet even facing these realities, Israel's achievement is staggering. A nation that started with essentially nothing but sand, rock, and determination, built an agricultural sector that defies every natural limitation. They proved that with engineering, innovation, and relentless problem-solving, you can make a desert bloom. Think about the transformation. In 1948, Israel faced potential food shortages and starvation. Today, it's a net agricultural exporter and a global agritech leader. Desert land that couldn't support a single crop now produces tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, dates, avocados, citrus fruits, and flowers for international markets. Brackish water beneath the Negev that was considered useless now supports fish farming and aquaculture. Technologies invented out of necessity are now billion-dollar industries selling solutions worldwide. The Israeli model shows us something profound about the future of food. As climate change intensifies, as water becomes scarcer, as populations grow and arable land shrinks, the innovations developed in Israel's deserts will become essential everywhere. Precision agriculture, water recycling, desalination, AI-driven farming. These aren't luxuries. They're necessities for feeding a world of 10 billion people. Here's the reality. Israel didn't just make the desert bloom. They created a blueprint for agricultural survival in the 21st century. They proved that technology, when combined with determination and intelligent policy, can overcome even the harshest environmental constraints. The national water carrier, drip irrigation, wastewater recycling, and desalination together form an integrated system that turns scarcity into abundance. And this is just the beginning. Israeli researchers are now exploring vertical farming, lab-grown proteins, and even more advanced AI applications in agriculture. The Volcani Center, Israel's agricultural research hub, employs 200 scientists working on everything from optimizing crop varieties to reducing post-harvest waste. Investment in Israeli agri-food technology reached $2.8 billion in 2023, funding over 400 companies. The momentum isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. If Israel can transform 60% desert into a food-exporting nation, what's possible for the rest of the world? If a country with 90 cubic meters of renewable water per capita can thrive while the United States has 8,700, what does that tell us about human ingenuity? Are you ready for a world where deserts feed cities, where recycled water grows your food, where artificial intelligence decides when to irrigate your crops? The agricultural revolution isn't happening in some distant future. It's happening now in the Negev desert. It's happening in greenhouses cooled by carbon dioxide. It's happening in fish farms using brackish groundwater. It's happening in fields monitored by drones and tended by robots. Israel proved that the impossible is just a problem waiting for a solution. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning. If you found this story as incredible as I did, hit that like button and subscribe for more documentaries about the engineering projects that are reshaping our world. We've got some mind-blowing stories coming your way.